We are going to practice putting the thread through the needle and then making some stitches on paper that we will then transfer to our pocket critters. You can push the thread through the needle eye using your fingers and then pulling through. If that's too difficult for you, then cut out a small rectangle from paper, fold the rectangle in half the long way, and tuck in your thread inside this little paper taco. Make sure it's not sticking out the front side of the paper taco, because that's just the same as trying to put it in with your fingers. Put the thread completely inside the little paper, the folded paper, and then pinch the tip of your paper and slide that into the eye of the needle. When you have a small amount on the other side, grab it and pull through. That will help you feed the thread through the eye of the needle. Now this side stays short. We do not make a knot on the short side of the thread, and we do not make a knot around the needle to keep it in place. We do, however, make a knot on this longer tail, on this longer side of thread. You can make a knot by forming a loop and then sliding. I'm going to pinch right here where the thread overlaps, sliding this tail inside the loop and pulling tight. This will form a knot. You can grab your knot and slide it down to the end of your thread. Okay, don't pull too tight, it will get super tiny, and then it's just going to go right through the paper. I'm going to trim the extra bit of thread there, and now we're going to practice on paper. Practice stitching on paper. I'm going to punch the needle from the back to the front. The needle helps you punch through fabric, felt, paper, but it's the thread that we need to pull once the needle has punched through. So I'm going to pinch the thread right here, and I'm going to pull it through. When that knot gets to the paper, it's going to stop. Don't pull too hard, or that knot's just going to make a bigger hole on your paper and go through it. I'm going to punch the needle from the back to the front. When the needle punches through the paper, I'm going to pinch the thread and pull through. I'm going to pull all the way until the knot gets to the paper. Then I'm going to punch the needle back from the front to the back. This is a single stitch. We are going to make more stitches and it will become a running stitch. Punch from the back to the front and from the front to the back. After you have made several stitches, it's going to start to look like a dashed line. To wrap up this stitch, when you are running out of thread, turn your paper or fabric to the back, look for that last stitch, slide your needle right underneath that stitch, and as the little loop starts to form, scoop it up with your needle. You need to do that twice to make a secure knot. Slide the needle under the stitch, pull on the thread, look for that little loop, scoop it up. Now you have a knot. I'm going to trim this excess thread. I'm going to remake a knot on this end, loop, tail goes through the loop, pull till you have that knot, trim the excess thread. Now we're ready for the second stitch. This stitch is called a whip stitch. Punch through the paper, and each time you punch through the paper is going to be from the same side. As you start to make more and more stitches, you'll notice that the thread is wrapping around the edge of the paper. It's right there on the edge. This is an ideal stitch for our small pocket critters. When you start to run out of thread, look for that last stitch. Slide the needle underneath. Look for the loop. Scoop it up and pull tight. Oh, that came right out. Slide the needle underneath the same stitch. Look for the little loop. Scoop it up with your needle and pull tight. That makes a secure knot. Now you have two different types of stitches.